What's up, guys? It's Ben with Tactical Nutrition, and today I want to do this video talk about how you should treat your body like an athlete when it comes to nutrition, even if you aren't one in all practicality, right? But we're talking about sports nutrition. We're talking about the aspects of sports nutrition that can be applied to everyone. So I like to think of sports nutrition as kind of like advanced nutrition. A lot of people know the basics. They they you hear you hear like stuff like it's very easy, just eat less and move more, and calories in versus calories out. And while these things definitely have a place, and we should try and give simple advice to people at first, as you move through and you really try to dial in your results, to get down to those really lower body fats, or to really hit different goals, you need to like start to utilize some tactical nutrition, if I might say so. So first, I want to talk about a couple aspects of, again, treating your body like an athlete. So we know athletes prioritize, obviously, fitness, but also nutrition, recovery, sleep, things like that. They usually have multiple coaches, and obviously they usually take supplements. So supplements are not something that everyone has to use, but when you start to find out all the benefits of different supplements, and I'll go through some today, you can add them into your repertoire to get better results and expand upon your results. So we're talking about timing. One of the biggest things about sports nutrition is timing of your fuel sources. So I'm talking about carbs, proteins, and fats that your body's burning for fuel, right? And it makes up most of the food that we eat. So I've said this in other videos, but one of the best, the simplest ways to deal with carbohydrates, being like sugars and carbs of different types, whatever. You can go down and into the scientific rabbit hole. We can go as deep as we want to go to glucose and monosaccharides and polysaccharides, whatever, or you can just call it bread and cereal and oatmeal and things like that, and sugar, even soda, even sources that are quote unquote bad. If you utilize even sources that I'm saying are bad at the right times, your body's going to react to them differently. And this is how we get really tactical with these things and really manipulate the way that your body's fuel systems are working with the nutrients so that they're timed properly, so that you can not only can you can expand out your different types of foods that you want to eat, so you don't have to be eating like a bird, but you can actually enjoy a lot of the foods that you like that may not be as nutritious for you, like pizza or cake here and there, or some cookies, right? Like, no, it's never not saying, I'm not saying you should eat these things, but you shouldn't have to go without. That's one of the biggest things about nutrition that really causes problems with the average person, is because they feel like they're going to be very limited in what they could eat. So around your activity times is when you want to use carbohydrates. That's the simplest way to put it. Like, if I'm about to go for a hike or for a run, which I never do because I don't like running, or a bike ride, which I will do, or if I'm going to go jump rope, or I'm going to go play a round of disc golf or something outside, or do anything that's going to involve, honestly, a decent amount of movement, like actual movement. I'm not talking about just walking to Walmart, walking through the store. I'm talking about doing something, again, like a short hike or a long walk or something like that. You can have some carbohydrates before that meal, and your body's not going to store them as much because you're going to be using that fuel as you go. So you're actually hitting two birds with one stone. So, like, let's just say I have a small bowl of oatmeal with some like flavored protein powder. I've got some like wild berry stuff, meal replacement that I like to put into mine just to make it not so bland. But like, before the activity, if I consume that, that's, my body's going to treat that like fuel and actually make the activity easier, the sport, if you will, or the workout. You're going to be able to go harder. You're going to be able to go longer. You're going to get a better pump, like as the nutrients are pushed into your muscle. You're going to be able to think a little bit clearer. Well, that's up for debate, but just for the instance of this video. And so, but if I were to, let's say, eat that oatmeal with the wild berry meal replacement, like right before bed or right before taking a nap on the couch or something, right? My body's not going to utilize the fuel. It's going to store it naturally. Now, I'm oversimplifying things here, but because there is something to do with your calories in and your calories out. But the idea is keep the carbohydrates around your workout times and before and after these areas of activity. So before to fuel it, after to refuel it, okay? The whole point of carbohydrates in your diet, if you choose to use them and you're not on like keto, should really be just to make the workouts more effective. Like you're not eating the carbs because you want the sugars, because they're not really serving much of a use in your body, and they can be very detrimental, as we see. But with sports nutrition, let's just ask a long distance runner, if you don't carb up and then you go for that and you try to run a marathon, have you seen those people that hit the wall proverbially? You know, they look like they're all messed up because their brain is like they're hypoglycemic and they can't even finish the race. And if nothing else, your performance is going to suffer. And so again, I'm using these carbohydrates to fuel the workout, to make myself work out harder. So you do have to work out harder. You don't need a bunch of oatmeal if you're going to walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes, okay? I'm talking about a real workout. Weight training, kettlebells, you know, high intensity, getting the heart rate up, stuff like that. So keep in the math equation, which is fat, proteins, and carbs. Let's go back to algebra class in high school, right? We got y equals mx plus b, right? Think about it that way. Carbs are kind of like, I guess, is it mx plus b? I can't even remember what this. It's been so long since I took this crap. Who cares? Algebra. Anyway, I'm talking about it. Carbohydrates are going to rise and lower from day to day, and depending on activity to activity, and they can go really high in some instances, like when I hike 14ers in Colorado, or they can go down to pretty much zero, as in if I do a 3-day fast, where I'm not going to be usually going on a long hike while I'm doing that. Okay, so the carbs are going up and down. Protein stays constant. I mean, this is kind of a staple between any kind of meal plan you look at. And so protein is like, let's say my goal is, you should have a number in mind and just be ballpark about it. And of course, the more perfect you can be, the better the outcome. But most people don't want to weigh out their food and measure everything. So like, everything on the label is also up for debate. It's not exact on the food label. So protein is constant. Let's say I eat 5 times a day. I mean, I have like one of the meal plans I use with our nutrition company that I work with is like 5 times a day for the average person, if they can do it. And it'll be breakfast, right? Snack, lunch, snack, dinner. So you're eating 3 meals, 2 snacks in between, and you have a number of proteins that you want to hit at each meal and snack. And I break this down for my clients. It takes 5 minutes. I mean, that's one of the first things we do is we dial in these numbers and we find the foods that fit in there. So in the math equation, carbohydrates are changing day to day, and then protein staying flat. Now for me, fat is one that people have a lot of different ideas about fat. Me, I really like a high fat, high protein, medium carb diet, right? Because I know that fat does not impact insulin levels barely at all. So you don't get the sugar rushes. This is particularly important for like diabetics, people trying to lose weight, right? Now we have to hack through the propaganda, which is part of this channel. So you've got you've got these government agencies still out here. They're still clinging to this thing where you don't eat too much fat. I mean, you shouldn't eat like really bad fats. And I'm not a fan of seed oils. I'm not really here to debate. Anyway, the whole point is like, I'm trying to eat quality fats along with the protein. So I eat things like steak, eggs, red meat, right? I am not a vegan, all right? I don't eat it all the time, but I'm getting protein and fat without any carbs. in all of those things. Eggs have 0 carbohydrate. That doesn't mean you can't break it down into sugar in your body. That's for another video, for your protein. So anyway, you're eating fat and protein, staying pretty constant, never missing with the protein, trying to get fat in there as well. But we're timing. You see how this is all about timing. And the better you get at it, the more you can read your body and the more you can plan accordingly. So like when I go for a hike, I'll use that example again because I used to hike a lot in Colorado. I will eat the entire way up. I don't care. I mean, I don't drink soda and stuff like that. I don't get too bad with it, but like, and that doesn't really make sense to bring up onto a mountain, but you know, I'll bring trail mix. You can even have a little bit of candy. You're going to burn it off. All right. Like, I mean, within reason here, but I'm also a lot of fat. I'm eating a lot of nuts as much as I can on the way up there. I also eat a lot of fat and protein and carbs before the hike. But what I'm saying, I digress, is we talk about sports nutrition. We talk about treating yourself like an athlete. Now, I haven't even touched on other aspects. I'm going to have to make a series out of this because I'm trying to make these videos too long. But obviously, I just talked about nutrition. I didn't even talk about, honestly, a lot about the food sources themselves. This is just the math equation, right? Carbs oscillate. If you're not going to be doing much, you don't need to. This is common sense now, right? You don't need to eat a bunch of potato chips on the couch. It's not the fat in the potato chips. It's the carbs, right? It's the sugar. The fats aren't helping, but you don't need to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before you sit behind your computer for 2 hours. Let's use our brains here. This is another reason why you should be more active. I'll end the video on this because the more active you are, I'll be honest, the more you can get away with. People will be like, Ben, you just never gain weight. But I went to Norway with the family, and I was eating so much because the food was so good anyway. We were cycling all over. We were doing hikes. I mean, when you're in that kind of activity, and obviously drink a ton of water, like within reason, I'm just eating like, I'd have like 4 platefuls of food at every single meal. It was just so good. People go, Ben, why don't you ever gain weight? It's because I know about the timing. Okay, guys? I know about the timing. That's what we work with our clients about. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You know the whole deal. It's a new channel. And in the comments below, let me know what you think. If you have anything to add about sports nutrition, we'll talk a lot about more of this in the future. So be active, eat healthy. You know the deal. Talk to you guys later.